Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Bruce, CMO at Agent Moves, and welcome to our Good to Great series. We're all about helping really good realtors become great and love to jump in today with our latest realtor. So I'd like you to meet Dana Burns. Dana, we talked a little bit before this. I like to introduce agents who something unrelated to real estate. So a couple of key things about Dana. First, 5 kids. That alone we can talk about for an hour, but we will talk a little bit about that. And she owns 2 Airbnbs on top of all of the real estate stuff she's doing. So we'll chat about that as well. So welcome, Dana. And first, tell us about dealing with 5 kids that you told me, I think, about from 12 to 24, is it?
Close, 14 to 24. It's definitely a full-time job. We have one that's completely flown the coop, two in college, a senior in high school, and a freshman in high school. So it's never a lack of fun and things going on.
So how do you do it?
Yeah, we're really blessed to have great co-parents, and that definitely helps. In today's modern world, blending a family, it's easy, but it's definitely doable. And one of the ways I do it is I get lots of leads and marketing from school events.
But that fabulous, right? Didn't think about that. 5 kids, more
More
opportunity to
people
create a
to know.
sphere of influence, more people to meet. Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So before we get into exactly how you got started, tell us a little about the Airbnbs. How did you get
Yeah,
started with that?
my husband's father lives in St. Simon's Island, Georgia, and is a member of Sea Island. And unfortunately, when my husband's mother passed away, we wanted to have a place close to my father-in-law so that we could see him more often. So we just started trying to think of how we could make that happen. And we knew that if we could get some rental income, we could see him, maybe once a month and visit there ourselves. It's about a 5-hour drive from our house. So that's how the thought became. We bought our first house there in February of 2020. And that house did so well as an Airbnb. We have it decked out with a ping pong table and different fun things for kids that last summer we bought the house next door.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love that. Great, great story. So, how did you get involved? That's, post getting involved as an agent. So, tell us about, your story. How did you first get involved in real estate and become an agent?
Yeah, so right out of high school, I really thought that I wanted to be an attorney. So I went to work at an attorney's office. And back in 2002, used a typewriter to type checks. So I was typing checks thinking, man, these real estate agents are doing great. Now, Blue Ridge, Georgia is a booming market. I've since moved to Lake Lanier, but I decided as I was typing those checks that I thought I would get my real estate license, and I did, and I never looked back. So 23 years later this year, I've been selling real estate.
Right. It's really interesting. I was speaking with someone a week or so ago, and her way in very similar. She went to work as a financial advisor for like Merrill Lynch or someone for about 3, 4 years, and said the exact same thing. I started seeing the money that real estate agents were making. I was advising them, and she said I had to get out of this and get into real estate.
It's been a great career. It's allowed me to be a mom who I feel like doesn't miss many things. The flexibility and the income has been a huge help to my family along the way.
I'm sure it has to be amazing. Let's start with the early days. So you get involved, right? How does it, start for you?
Yeah, so I start selling cabins, second homes in Blue Ridge, Georgia. That community is about an hour above Atlanta. Our target market was Atlanta and Florida. Back then, not many people had a website. I was one of the first in the area, and that really kicked things off. Integrating the IDX into the website at the time was new technology. I had that. And then I just started a lot of the things that I do now, which are making connections with people and being involved in groups, giving back to the community, and just using my sphere.
Right. So as you were building that, tell us about those, first couple of years, moving units, I guess maybe some of the challenges you faced early on.
Sure. Early on, I think the challenges were my age, having to present myself as to someone who's buying a second home, which is primarily what that market is, and a lot of my market now. So, just remembering to dress professionally, to overcome that, speak with knowledge. I would memorize certain facts. That always helped, to seem knowledgeable about the area. So, early in my career, age was the thing to overcome to prove myself knowledgeable. And then after that, of course, during my career, we've had 2007, 2008, we had a market crash. I worked through those years and just always being able to quickly transition. I say become the new, Madonna of the time, evolve with the times, learn how to sell, short sales when I needed to. Um, just being able to roll with the punches have always helped me overcome challenges.
Right. Really interesting. So now you come out of that, bubble, right? We come out of that crash, and were you a solo agent? Were you working with a team?
Yep. So I had in Blue Ridge before I left, I had about a 20-person team. And then I met my husband who lived in Atlanta, Georgia. And so we decided Lake Lanier, Gainesville, Georgia would be a good spot. So I landed there and I got my broker's license at that time. He was also in real estate. So stayed in a little community brokerage that I owned, just doing our things for about 3 years. Then during the crash, we needed to sell our home, and I decided to get on board with Keller Williams and went back to work here in the Gainesville area.
Okay, so you've been with Keller, I guess, ever since.
Yeah, yep. I've been with Keller Williams for, I guess this is about 13 years, 14 years
Beautiful.
now.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, so give us some tips, some of the things, this is about sharing wisdom. I hope that, anyone watching can take, one thing away from any of these interviews. And to me, it's a home run for them. So, even here already, the Airbnb is a great story,
Yeah,
it was kind of needs based the way you looked at it versus I want to just go make money. And that alone, I think, is a great tip. I mean, as you're saying it, I'm thinking about the 91-year-old dad in Florida I'm going to go see in 2 months.
yeah. There you
Um,
go.
you
There's your
know,
Airbnb,
right.
and you can go more often, Before that particular Airbnb, I did have a few more. I had one in Destin, Florida. I had one in Blue Ridge, Georgia. I had a cabin that I rented out. And St. Simon's, just a tip for anybody, has been the best rental opportunity for whatever reason. A lot of golf courses there and such that we've had. Other tips, and I mentioned my sphere. I think one thing I lacked on early is building the database. It's so key, having all that information in there, touching your past clients. I have that now, but if I had that years ago, I really could have worked off that and done so much more business. I usually do as a solo agent anywhere from 30 to 50 homes a year. And one other thing that I'm proud of that I hope that I don't hear enough spoken about, I feel, in this industry is consistency.
Mhm.
So maybe I'm not doubling and tripling every year, but for over 20 years, I've consistently sold a certain amount. And what I think that takes, and as a mother too, you can only do so much and still be present with your family and do, other things that are add wealth in a big picture to your life, right? Just showing up every day, having a vision board, which is behind me here, getting updated now. Visualization and visualizing things has been huge. Manifesting mindset, sphere of influence, working with people you love, database, keeping in touch with them. Those are the three top things, in my opinion, um, that have helped me have a steady career for over 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent. I'm going to connect you after this with I interviewed an agent about a week or two ago, and her specialty is manifestation, is like a spiritual coach. It was the first I kind of heard of that. And my wife's a therapist, my son's a therapist. I just hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
Visualization I have heard, but you repeating that here, really quite interesting now that it's, starting to come up. But I'll connect you with her. That's another
please
story.
do.
And yeah, she's just absolutely awesome. Also, like I think in the business maybe 25 years or so. And yeah, consistency, really interestingly, what I hear is from a lot of the most successful agents, right, especially solo agents, you get really busy. Like you know what you want to do, you know how you want to stay in touch with your sphere, you get a couple of things going, and then you get busy. And then you can't do those things that you, especially, big family, you're dealing with all you're dealing with. And now you lose the consistency of whatever you were doing, your point of keeping your database active, activated, engaged in some way to remember you, right? There are crazy statistics in this category, in real estate where I think it's like 80% of
Oh,
agents,
yeah.
it's only the one agent that they choose, 80% of them, the first one in on the seller, and 75% of sellers don't use the agent that sold them the house because they don't remember them.
Remember who it was. I
And
know.
that
Yes,
goes to your consistency. So tell me about how things that you were doing, to stay in touch, and how are you being consistent?
absolutely. Top of mind is we have to be there. So you're going to see me posting on my social medias every day in the stories, two, three, four, 5 times a day, so that I'm always in your feed when you're looking on your social media. And it's not just about houses, it's about my personal life, about things I have going on, because you want to know who you're working with. I also do 2 to 4 client events a year, depending on the year. I've done things like I usually meet up for coffee in the wintertime, and then we're going to do an ice cream social in the summer. Not expensive things, just an invitation to get out and meet new people. What else do I do that I love? Those are the client events and the social media are my 2 favorite things to do. I also do things like just listed, just sold. I send a Thanksgiving gift or a thankful gift to my clients every year, postcards, a newsletter every month. That's a touch that I do that I love. I've got great response off of. And I'm looking to add one more email this year, and I can't decide what it'll be, but I think if you did doing 2 a month is great. So I'm thinking about maybe restaurants around town and giving my reviews on that because who doesn't love to go out to eat? So those are kind of thoughts on growth.
Yeah, yeah. I think local events, it's something we tell agents to that we promote through Agent Moves. I think local events each month, right? You highlight a couple of local events that you love, whether it's restaurants or local things happening, just as a reminder, just lets people that maybe don't know you see that you are, an expert in that local area. So the restaurant reviews, great idea, a fun one, and a good one, right?
Yeah.
I saw a couple of your videos, and I didn't know you post a few times a day is amazing. So you're doing all that like manually. You're just in between everything. You're just posting during the day a couple of times a day.
Yes, and because I like social media, that's a task that I take on myself. But I would say don't be afraid when you're consistently selling, as an individual agent, say 35 plus homes a year, don't be afraid to leverage. I do have a full-time business coordinator now who helps me with my newsletter, getting listings live and active. Before that, I used a transaction coordinator. So I've moved kind of up those ways because you can't do it all and you can't do it all well. But you can kind of pick and choose the things that you enjoy doing and do those well.
Hmm. Yep, yep. Very good, very good, good advice. So now we're coming into 2025. Here we are. You have your vision board you're working on. So talk to me about scaling and what the plans are for 2025. Anything you're going to do differently that you feel that could add to the consistency, add to your database, whatever it is.
Yeah, so my full-time hire, the business coordinator, is a new piece. I'm also working on, because I have been in this business over 20 years, working on a coaching business, working on personal branding and a different website for that, looking to write a book about how to consistently sell 25 homes a year to share that knowledge with other agents. So I just have had a great career, and I real estate wise want to continue to sell about 50 homes a year and just give great customer service, right? So I'm working to up my price point by doing a little more luxury marketing, sell the same number of homes but in a higher price point. So making connections with people who have luxury properties. You got to get in the room with those people. So I do a good luxury business, looking to do a great one.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So tell me a little bit about, you get into a seller's home, right? You're now pitching them for, you want to be their listing agent. What makes you different? What do you do? I would take it, just having met you for a few minutes, that your closing rate is quite high once you get in there. I'm sure in like the 90% or somewhere around there. So what do you do different, or, what do you do that helps you really just convince that seller that you are the agent?
The first thing I do before I go into any listing appointment is I pray. And I can't be on anything without saying that. So my faith is huge for me. I feel like I pray every morning that God will bring people into my life who need me and that I can fulfill and help them in ways, that they need my help with. So that's huge. But I think things that set me apart are I really make a point to be relatable, to not just look at the listing as like, every lake listing's the same. I really take a personalized approach, though I do have one marketing plan for lake homes in our area, one marketing plan for off lake homes. So I do, but then I take a second to just even make handwritten notes about what I want to do special for this home. So most recently, that looks like a lifestyle video. I have my first lifestyle video, which I learned about in a mastermind, coming out with a listing in January. And that particular nugget for that house sealed the deal. So I think sometimes it's, asking the right questions to the seller to see what's important to them, and really listening and delivering on your promises.
I like it. I really like it. Is all of those videos, is it all just in social? I mean, are you also using YouTube?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, I consider YouTube as a social. I'm
social?
looking to grow my YouTube channel this year. My Instagram and Facebook are larger than, but I hear so much success with YouTube. So in 2025, that's definitely on my goals, to grow your YouTube. And I would say, looking back, would have been a great place to start growing that first for, agents who are just getting into the marketplace and looking for um, a place to start. I would grow that.
Right. Yeah. And that you're into this already, doing so many posts a day. A lot of agents are a little intimidated by video. And it's so natural to you. I think this would be easy to grow your YouTube channel. But that is what, one of the things we also talk about and promoting today. You need to be doing video, right?
You
People,
absolutely do.
right? How do you find now, different on what you post on social? Do you get a very different reaction when it's, something live video versus, another, type of post?
Absolutely. So I used to do just a lot of still photos, maybe graphic words over that, but just the interaction, the views, the shares, it's just so much higher when it is video, that it just kind of tells its story, that you need to be doing that. Now, sometimes I do still use posts, but if I use a still picture, it's a super personal post where I'm sharing my heart about something, maybe, and writing. I still do get some good response on that. So one time, a great lady in my office said, whatever you do, just do something. And I think that's so true. We get so bogged down with it being the perfect video, the perfect take, but just do something. People aren't looking for perfection. They really just want to know you as a business person and as a human, and make a connection.
Great advice. I mean, that's a great way just to end this segment. I think people get frustrated with wanting this perfection, and that's totally not expected, from text messaging to the way we interact with FaceTime. The expectation of perfection in these things is gone, right? You don't need professional lighting. You need just get out there and do it, right? Get your message out, get your personality out there. I think it's just great advice for people that are kind of struggling a little bit, as good as they may be doing, right? When you want to scale, get to the next level, you need that consistency. You need to be doing more marketing. And I think just getting out there and doing it and not worrying about how perfect is great advice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So listen, I love chatting with you. This was awesome. You've given me some good advice, so I appreciate that. And I think agents will, whether it's a newbie, coming in, because a lot of newbies will be looking at this, or, agents that are doing this 10, 15, 20 years. Everyone hears something different every day. I'm sure, in yours, you look for, where can I kind of steal some great nugget of information from someone that I can now use in my, in my business. So this was great. Really, really appreciate the time. Please follow Dana on social media. Go look for her, Dana Burns. Follow us on our YouTube channel, and you can find her there as well. And until next time, really appreciate the time today.
Thank you.